listeners, Harika here, and I'm super excited to welcome you to Upptalk. If you're ready to learn and get your hands work wonders in the world of information technology, then you're in the right place. When I say Upptalk, we are not just another edtech company. Consider we are your learning partner committed to unlocking your full potential. Whether you're stepping into the world of technology for the first time or looking to advance your career, we provide top-tier, hands-on courses to build up your career. Let's take our first step towards learning here and explore it.
Accrual. Basically, here we have a monthly accrual that is 2.25 days every month by end of the month. Eligibility we have here not full-time, just country. Maybe based on, let's say India, you have different companies. Like you have a company 123A, B, C Limited. In the same organization, you have another company named 456 ABC Limited, like that. There is a separate plan created for first company. There is a different plan created for another company. Based upon the whatever requirement you get from business, you include that here. Now, this is a first level of eligibility we add. On accrual also, you get an option of overriding. If I take a case here we have just taken country is India. Now let's make this accrual just for full-time and for part-time. We will have a flat accrual of 1 day every month. What we will do, we will override the eligibility rule. What is set on timer plan? Yesterday you were not having a full time for pre-arriving date and pre-restart date, both of the things. I would just include for now whatever available. Which is, I guess, just as of period started. I will enter this. Now you are taking an entry from eligibility countries India. Here on override, if you are just mentioning time type is part-time, full-time, then If there is you see the name says this is override. The eligibility rule, what you have placed on timer plan, it will be overriding that rule. The tab name says timer plan override. If you are not including the rule what is placed on timer plan, it will just go and look whether time type is full-time or not. This accrual will be given all the full-time. It doesn't matter the worker is from India or from any other country. Makes sense? Ajay. Here, for that reason you need to include both of the logic. One says the country is India and another not. Company. Full-time. This one. This one. Similarly, there are other things as well. You can. If you have noticed that you have accrual frequency, like how on plan level we have set the accrual to be happen on end of the period. Here you can override. If you want to happen by start of the period, you can come here. There you can override. If you mention a start of the period, Now accrual will be happening the start of the period in place of end of the period. For now, I am saving the start of the period to show you how you have overridden the plan eligibility on accrual level. Similarly, you can override the plan eligibility on time off level as well. On time off, you have an option of including validation. What are the validation you can have? Those are delivered. Validation you can have on time off. Right. It's not like you can add validation from your end. What are those? We will come to know. What are the things available here? Right. Those only validation you can add on time off. By name, it should be clear what it is. Can you have a look from top to bottom and let me know if anything is not clear to you? These are the ones which are predefined in the system, right? Predefined, and these are the limitations. You cannot have any validation more than this. Right? There are ways. There are workarounds. If there is any additional validation, then what are the way to achieve that right? But not from here. I'll do one thing. I'll just give a brief explanation about this. A consecutive days maximum, it tells you what are the maximum number of days can be requested in a row. The same way you have for minimum, like there are few of plans where minimum 3 days can be requested. Like if you have a marriage leave setup right. You cannot leave marriage. You cannot request marriage day time off for 1 day. Your organization wants minimum. You go for 3 days of time off for your marriage vacation. Right? If there's some sort of, I'm not saying it's a hard and fast rule, just an example. Consecutive days minimum will be set to 3 in our example. Increment. Let's say if your time off is 1 day. Right? And we set an increment of 2.5. Then that will not be no 2.5 is. Basically, it will allow the multiplier. Is 1 a multiplier of 0.5? We can divide 1 by 2.5 and the outcome result will come as a 4 increment. Let's say we have put as an increment 0.5. We can request half a day. We can request 1 day. We can request 1.5 a day. There is one maximum. What is the maximum number of units allowed under this time off? When we have maximum unpaid. Unpaid in the sense, what is the maximum limit you set for this time off? Once people do not have balance under this, then they can go unpaid. In our layman term, we can tell as a loss of pay. How many days more loss of pay LOPI you allow to people to be employed under this time off? How we have a maximum. Same we have as a minimum. What is the minimum amount? What is the minimum quantity? You want employee to apply under this. Is multiple time off requests allowed for this? Oh yes. Like same time off. A worker can take first 0.25 in a day. The first half and another 0.25 in a second half. Total, it would be half a day of leave. Do you allow that? If that we decided right. Here time off. Date before maximum override balance data not allowed. Basically, we do a override balance for any worker. Like if some sort of correction we require right, or any additional balance is given to worker. In that case, we do a balance override. Any time of date that falls, that comes before override date, should we allow or not? That thing we do here. In our case, the time off is the unit allows is day right. Child, select consecutive maximum as 5. As a worker can request maximum 5. Number of days in one request. In one request means consecutively. Max. I will mention one right. Here, you will have to select. You allow 1 day. In general, you know we select this. Like all time of entries for a worker for same date. Basically, you are saying here, maximum worker can, an employee can request 1 day of time off in an entire day. If it is 16th of February, they can request maximum of 1 day on 16th, right? If it is like, it's not like they can request 1.5 a day on this day, on particular day, like 16th of February or 15 any day. The maximum unit allowed is 1. You are not matching this validation. You will be getting a hard error and system will not allow to submit that request. We've put conjugative day minimum. We've minimum 2 days. Minimum 2 days. I will be requested under this. If you see right side right, you have a do not allow request. Always we keep a check right. There are a few cases, if you want somebody. If you are like manager is submitting on behalf of worker, then allow manager to submit, allow manager to surpass this validation, If you do that, manager will also be getting a soft warning, but system will not stop him. Oh, requesting the time off, it will allow, but it will just pop up a soft warning. That soft warning can be a custom message. You can write here, what are the custom message you want to display there? I will save this. Also for now, work. Let's say, I am just requesting, not. Now one thing, if I request or him and there, will it allow me to submit the request or not? What leave a J? This one. What we have created. I think it should. Allow right. Because you have a balance. We do have a balance. But if you Consecutive day minimum. We said 2. Do you feel that it is fulfilling? This is the leave, what you have recorded. Present month. I think it should. Fulfilled 2 consecutive days. I don't. I think it should. It should fulfilled because I think it should. Fulfilled. When you say 2 consecutive days, which means if you want to record a leave, it should always be 2 consecutive days, not single day. Whenever an employee, I mean, whenever you want to record based on the configuration you have set. If an employee need to record a leave, it should always be inclusive of minimum of 2 days. I mean, only 2 days consecuted. Let's say if you are requesting for 15th and right, those are not consecutive. Correct, correct, and 16th or 15th. Understood. We are requesting the 15th. It will not. It will not when I request. When I click, right? This time of validation gets triggered when you click submit. I am clicking. So let's see. It allowed because consecutive is already request that fulfilling. If I request 4th, will it? I don't think because there is no record for right. Correct. You are correct. There is no conjugative. Neither. Adjective already requested, including request select. Click some error come out. Validate second. Right. Minute date show requested. Correct. You know, requesting configure collect of region. Take a better understanding. That not said, I'll make it family right. It's up to you. You are giving, it is a net. If not, giving system will generate you. Or let me know. Or if these things are not making very much sense to you guys right at this moment, it is making sense, I'd say, but it is that the configuration, what you said, for 2 consecutive days, that's something which is not common, right? Because usually in most of that is not common, but this is common. That was just for This is not common, this is common. They give it as 1 day, right? 1 day. But there are cases, right? I worked for an organization. There was a marriage vacation, right? Marriage vacation not allowed a consecutive days validation, was it? The organization wants you. If you are going to marry, at least take minimum 3 day of time off. There are people who are calling. They just go in evening, marry and again join and come back to work tomorrow morning, right? But Ajay, also I have a question with that example, what you just shared. Let's say a company give you 3 days of marriage leave. When you get married, they have 5 days. Or let's say 5 days only as an example. They'll give you 5 days and they will tell you that you need to avail this only in the consecutive days. And you can set the cap of consecutive days as 5 days, right? Minimum, three like minimum. You can request, let's say 17th is your marriage right. Either you book, if you are booking a time off, if first day you are choosing a 16th, then book for 16th, 17th, 13th. But when you say 16, 17, 18, are you defining based on the calendar days or are you be defining on the business working days? Business working days. There is something called work schedule, right? It will not count your weekends. Weekends and holidays also right. If you remember something we have said here, right? But that would be more of like a consecutive days. You see, here it says work days, non-holidays. It won't consider Saturday, Sunday, Holy Diwali, no correct. But what I'm trying to understand, that means it is only consecutive days. If the employee is eligible for 5 days and if they want to avail only 3 days, they're saying that I have work and I don't want 5 days of marriage leave. I will avail only 3 days. In that case, system would not allow in this kind of situation, right? Because we have set the consecutive as 5 days. If we have set a minimum criteria to 5, right, then that will not allow. In that case, we'll have to do some sort of from back end. And then is it also possible, like a employee avail that 5 days of marriage leaves in one consecutive days, and they record it, and after that, if the employee is still trying to record a marriage leaves for the second time, system should restrict. Can we put that rule? And what is? That's what. Let's say that was just 5 days of balance under that plan. We have Once he has requested 5 days, all plan is exhausted. The marriage is not nothing like. There will be a recurring frequency for that. That happens once in a lifetime. Right here, maximum unpaid time, if we set to 0, right, it means once somebody has utilized that already exhausted. There is no more balance left. This is a common validation. We keep in all the plan. It restricts it restricts people from going beyond the balance. Got you right. Like if let me do one thing. That's not common thing. Requesting time of minimum for 2 days. I'll make it 1 day. By name itself, it look it. it looks clear. If not, try doing in system and check. If there is anything like now, or you have time a few more days, like I'll be happy to discuss accordingly. I'll remove for now. Now we set reason here. There was a checkbox. Do you want us this reason to be required field while requesting time off? Time off now. I made it. No, right? It will not compel employee to give the value for reason. If we make it, it will force employee to give reason for time off while requesting time off. If they do not, it will stop people from requesting. I'll just reload. Now, one basic thing. This is a Workday thing. Man, this request we have submitted. The time when we were not, when we did not configure reason. You remember now. This is in progress. It's still not approved. Now, if will it ask employee? You have not submitted reason and submit now since the configuration it changed will. It will not because the moment when this request was initiated, that configuration was not a part of system. That's what. Something we have effective dated a database or effective dated a up system, right? On 20th, I'm requesting. It is asking for reason. It is asking for reason. I made that. Yes, you'll have to select one. I'm selecting personal reason and submitting it alone. This is how it works. That was the thing I discussed on time off. I've covered almost everything on time off level. When I say time off, it means just this. This is work tag that comes. Something not usually is for now. You can pause. When you start working in time off, you'll get a flavor of this. Basically, when you have time tracking implemented and you get some tag created based upon this time off, then that time you use here, on a very high level, I'm saying cell option. If you mark cell option right, there are two options: fixed period or any time. If you allow, or this is a new feature from Workday, let's go and check. If you have leftover balance, this is not enabled in this system. It's a training tenant for that reason. But your live system will be having this right. If it is enabled, if we allow fixed period, then let's say from 1st of January till 31st of January, you are allowed to sell your time off if you have balance. If we check any time, then throughout the year, if you have balance, you can sell it off. That money will be coming to your bank account, maybe with your salary or maybe ad hoc payment. That depends on your payroll. You have an option of setting up a limit. Like you allow people to sell a time off for just 5 days, not more than that. This is all we have under time off. In accrual, we do not have any sort of validation, any sort of reason. You do not require. The job of accrual is to give you balance based upon your eligibility. Eligibility in the sense whether you are a full time, whether you work, few people works or 60 hours in a week, few people works 30 hours in a week, right? Based upon number of your hours, based upon depends on various thing in your company, how they want you decide the amount of time of balance to be given to your employee based on the frequency they decide. Here you have an option of overriding. You have an option of overriding in override. We already discussed two things. One is like you can override the frequency of time off. It says time of plan override. You can override the rule eligibility, the frequency. When you say these things will be active when you select custom frequency, you see it became active custom frequency in the sense that's not of the like you want any. There is a time of plan. First, you want people to get accrual once they complete 6 months in the organization, right? Here, you will be putting this as a custom frequency. Here you will be making a field that will be hire date plus 6 months. Let me check how. We have hire date plus 2 months, like that. We already have hire date plus 6 months, right? Something like that. These are custom fields. Sorry, work delivery world fields. Now it's a custom one. You can make a similar field based upon your requirement and it will be accrue. Basically, this is our accrual to be given every month, but first time it should be given to employee. Like first 6 months, you do not give any accrual to employee once they complete 6 months. Then you start giving this accrual and should be recurring every month. You give it here one and write it here as month, making sense, yep. And as you also, while you said, this accrues on a monthly basis. Do we? I think right now, the system, what we have in our organization is the accrual happens on first of every month. Like you have configured right now. But let's say, for example, I have one earned leave which is accruing for the month of January, but system will allow me to apply for the leaves in the future, which means if I'm eligible for 10 earned leaves in the year, 12 earned leaves in the year, I can record 12 earned leaves in the month of January for the January dates. Would we have any controls where we can put some restrictions on that as well? How do we do that? Also in time off, you have seen unpaid, right? Basically, let's say your annual accrual is 10 days. For an example, in January, 10 days is given for. Let's not take an example of vacation or annual leave. Let's say it's a sick leave or some sort of casual leave. You allow people to have 10 days throughout the year and there is accrual. You give, or 10 days annually you give, or 10 days before you give, or 10 days before you give, or 10 days, or when people complete half of the year. You can say 1st of June or 1st of July, like that. Right? But employee can request maximum of 10 days in January itself that you allow people. A new hire who has been hired on 1st of January. You can say he will not be having any casual leave. Balance from prior year, right? And again, he will be getting accrual on 1st of July, but he wanted some casual leave before that, right? You can mention something like this maximum unpaid is allowed here you mentioned, and then 0. Like under this plan, anybody can request negative of 10 days. It will allow off front going through, and submitting your request in system. Unless you have the event, you do not have your approval for this year. Override frequency. We have a 3 option, a start end, what you have there, on time of plan, on time of plan. Also we have a custom frequency. Right? Here we can have a custom frequency. If we wanted to override this, frequency can be, high date plus 6 months. You want to have in every 3 months, like every quarter you want to give. Based upon that, whatever is requirement, you can configure here. I revert back the changes here. You have a limit, lower limit, override value. Here you have an option of setting up the lower limit. If you have set something here at 0 and you want it to override, you set some value here. If you want, if it is a requirement, if it is not requirement, do not do anything. Most of the cases in real organization life plans, you will see this is to be empty itself. Also, this is what now you know entirely time of an entirely accrual. Only the logics will be differing, right? The requirement will be differing. Maybe you have another set of validation on time of another set of reasons right, another set of override rules. One plan may have like more than one accrual. Anyway, this accrual has an override of full time. This plan should have on another accrual for part-timers. Based upon your organization, you decide what should be the accrual for part-time. Currently, We have created a lookup calculation under this right that evaluates the year of services spent in an organization and then decides the amount accrued. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@uptalk.com.